They'll pretend they don't see you until you win. You think people don't see you? They do. They see you working. They see you trying. They see you struggling. They see you showing up. They just pretend not to. Not because they're blind, but because acknowledgement is power, and they're not ready to give you that. This is the quiet truth about the human world. Most people are not rooting for you. They're waiting for you to stay the same. If you fail, they can say they were right about you. If you succeed, it forces them to face the truth about themselves. And that's something most people will never do. So they watch you from the shadows. They act like your effort doesn't matter. They scroll past your work. They avoid your updates. They never ask how it's going. Not because they don't know, but because they're hoping it won't go anywhere. They are comfortable with the you they already know. The broke you. The improving you. The safe you. The forgettable you. It fits their narrative. It makes them feel secure. They can compare themselves to you and think, at least I'm doing better than him. But if you grow, if you rise, if you actually become someone, you shatter that comfort. And when that happens, their silence turns into tension. Their tension turns into envy. Their envy turns into hate disguised as concern or advice. Let me tell you why they pretend not to see you. 1. Admitting they see you means admitting you're capable. And if you're capable, it means they could have been too. 2. They fear you'll surpass them. Your success is a mirror, and it shows them every excuse they've made for not trying. 3. They're addicted to the role you play in their story. The role of the underdog who never makes it. The friend who never changes. The family member who never gets far. If you break that role, you break their illusion. And some people would rather lose you than lose their illusion. This is why you cannot wait for validation. Because if you're waiting for people to cheer for you before you go all in, you'll be waiting forever. If you're waiting for them to believe in you before you believe in yourself, you'll die with your potential still inside you. If you're waiting for them to notice before you work, you'll never have anything worth noticing. Understand this. When you're losing, everyone has time to talk. When you start winning, everyone has time to watch. At first, the watching is silent. It's calculating. It's distant. They're not ready to acknowledge you. Not until they have no choice. Not until your results are so undeniable that ignoring you becomes impossible. That's when the same people who doubted you will say, I always knew you had it in you. And you'll know they're lying. The silence is not your enemy, it's your forge. Let them ignore you. Let them scroll past. Let them act like you're invisible. Because while they're pretending not to see you, you're sharpening. You're grinding. You're becoming. And one day, they will have no choice but to look. Not because you asked for their attention, but because your presence demands it. They'll see you when you've built the body they swore you couldn't have. You've made the money they thought you'd never make. You've built the discipline they said was impossible for someone like you. You've created a life so far removed from your starting point that they have to reintroduce themselves when they meet you. They'll see you then. They'll post you. They'll claim you. They'll rewrite history to make it seem like they were always in your corner. And you'll smile. Not because you need them, but because you don't. You have to stop chasing their eyes. The work you do is not for their recognition. The sacrifices you make are not for their applause. The battles you fight in the dark are not for their approval. You don't grind for attention. You grind for transformation. For the man you become in the process. For the power that comes from knowing, deep down, that you built yourself from the ground up. The win changes everything. When you win, the same silence that used to feel like rejection becomes proof that you didn't need them in the first place. When you win, the same people who ignored you start quoting you. They start tagging you. They start asking for advice they never took from you before. When you win, the same rooms that were closed to you suddenly open. Not because you begged, but because you walked through the fire and earned the right to be there. So here's the truth. They're not going to clap for you at the start. They're not going to repost you. They're not going to say, "I believe in you." They'll test you with silence. They'll test you with doubt. They'll test you with absence. And if you break, if you shrink, if you quit, you prove them right. But if you keep going, if you work in silence, if you master your craft, if you show up when they've all stopped watching, if you bleed for it day after day without needing a single like, one day they'll have to admit, even to themselves, that they always saw you. They just never thought you'd make it this far. And that, my friend, is when you'll realize the most freeing truth of all. You never needed them to see you. You just needed to win.